Good evening, guys. Welcome back to another video over here on the Chinese Zodiac and horoscopes. Today we're going to be doing a reading for you guys born in the year of the rabbit. So welcome back, all my bunny guys and gals. Hope you're doing all right. We'll find out, won't we, as we shuffle these up, and we'll see how things are going for you guys. We will also be doing the predictions for the year of the snake next week. So if you are interested in finding out what's going to happen next week, then hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. We'll be doing those in preparation for the year of the snake, which is of course going to be in February, as that is the Chinese New Year. So the prediction isn't for 2025, it's for the year of the snake. So we're still in the year of the dragon at the moment, and we'll be moving over to that year of the snake in the next couple of weeks. So we'll get those predictions out relatively soon. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss those. And we're going to stop about there. And we're going to take that one from the bottom. We're going to take that one from the middle. We're going to take that one from the top. What have we got? Okay, so we've got a white and two blacks there. That white there to start us off in a nice positive place. And we're going to move into that negative next, or at least those two negatives next, which again looks a bit doom and gloom. It looks a little bit, oh no, and you're going to start to worry, but don't worry just yet. It may be premature. Black isn't always an attack and white isn't always all right, okay? And there we are. We're going to start off with the rabbit, the catalyst card. Now, rabbits get on okay with each other, so we've got a good compatibility there to begin with. We have got a catalyst moment as well, which is going to come in. Something's happened. It's taken your environment from one aspect of everyday life, and it's now put you in a position of a new everyday life. And now you're kind of seeing it from kind of like a different perspective. You're kind of seeing things how different they could be. And that catalytic moment, or this change, this phase, this thing that is now happening and changing that you've got no control over, because this is affecting every aspect of things. It could affect, it's affecting you emotionally, mentally, maybe even physically. And that's that change. You can't stop that. The way you feel about it, it's not going to change. The way that you think about it, it's not going to change. The way that it makes you, physically feel, or what it's done to you physically, not going to change. That is a change now that is going to be a permanent thing that's moving on in, whether it's the way you see things or the way you do things, doesn't matter. Something has happened. And I think it is something where it's a change in perspective. It's a change of maybe routine. That rabbit, again, is that sort of catalytic moment. You are within that sort of catalytic moment. And I think right now, there is a bigger understanding of it, or you're kind of seeing the bigger picture. You're kind of seeing things for what they actually are. Like I say, you're looking at this change in circumstances, or routine, or you're looking at something that's not your norm, and now you're seeing how things could be, and you're kind of like, oh, all right, okay, so this is how it is. Whether you see that as a good or a bad, I don't know. We'll find out, because we're moving into this negative phase, even though that might not even have anything to do with this. We'll connect the dots in a moment, but that catalytic moment that is coming in is definitely making you think about things. We've got a monkey card coming into play there, that doer. Now, unfortunately, the monkey and the rabbit isn't necessarily a great compatibility. They don't really get on very well. Now, it is in the negative as well, so it looks like you are in a place where there's certain responsibilities or certain things or obligations that potentially you are neglecting. There's things that you are seeing now. I mean, it could be because of this catalytic moment, you're seeing things differently, but you're not necessarily looking out for yourself right now. You're actually putting yourself in a more vulnerable, or a more sort of, I don't want to say toxic state, but it kind of is. Like, the mentality that you may be having right now could be a little bit, I don't know, maybe one-sided, or more rabbit-y kind of thought process rather than anybody else's perspective of things. It is selfish. I mean, that monkey is a selfish card. It is a selfish card, and that's okay sometimes. It is okay to be selfish, but it's almost like you are being selfish. It's almost like it's not even like for self-care reasons. It's like potentially you are being a bit selfish, or you're thinking selfishly, maybe because you're enjoying what you're doing, or you're enjoying this sort of new aspect. It's almost like you're at work, right? And you work there all the time as the assistant manager. And then one day the manager goes on holiday for a week, or, takes time off, has to, goes on maternity leave or whatever reason it is. there's no manager there. So you stepped into that role. And now you're getting big for your boots. Now you're getting all, cocky. Now you get, and that's not necessarily a good thing. It's almost like you need to remember who you are. You need to remember, come on, rabbit, come on. You don't need to be that. You don't need to be like that. There's no need for it. It's unnecessary. Again, it's also about looking after your health here as well, because you could potentially be putting yourself in a position where you're putting strain on yourself. I mean, you're already going through this change, or there's already something that's different. And now you're sort of putting the strain on yourself, almost like, because things have changed, you're now eating more fast food, for example, because it's convenient, or because it's comfort food or stuff like that. Not necessarily the way to go. I mean, I'm not going to tell people how to throw their dice, but in all fairness, looking after ourselves physically and, taking care of our bodies, that's one of our main, obligations, or as a human, carrying this vessel, walking around in it all the time, using it for our own means and, whatever. We need to take care of it. We don't put diesel in a petrol car for a reason. So if we are being a bit self-indulgent, if we are being a little bit, I don't know, it could be anything. It could be fast food, could be alcohol, could be drugs. I mean, I don't mind or care or necessarily judge anybody for how they deal or cope with everyday life. You do you, that's up to you. But in moderation, people, in moderation. We've got that ox coming in, jumping in there. And again, not necessarily the greatest compatibility, the rabbit and the ox, mainly because they're both reserved, they're both quite shy, they show a very lukewarm interest to each other. In fact, anybody else really, they're not necessarily the most outgoing of peoples. So if you've got two, people that are introverted, like the ox and the rabbit, they're probably not going to talk to each other necessarily. You need like a more extroverted middle person. That ox is a thinking card as well. So we've got this doer card and this thinker card both in the negative, which really means that not only are you not necessarily looking out for yourself, but you're also not even thinking about it. It's almost like it's out of sight, out of mind. It's almost like it doesn't matter. It's almost like while that manager is away, you can change the suppliers. What does it matter? You can change the whole structure and routine and rotors. What does it matter? And you're not thinking about it. It's like you're not thinking about the consequences. You're not thinking about, the long-term issues here. You're not thinking about what could potentially come of this in the long term. Because when that manager comes back, which they will eventually, are they going to be okay with all the changes that you've made? Are you sure this is something that you want to pursue? Are you sure maybe you should just keep things as they are? Or maybe you should change the direction altogether. Maybe even, think about applying for a manager job. If you think that it is something that you are good at, do it independently, maybe in a different working environment or a different sector or a different department or a different place altogether, instead of trying to step on the toes of that person that's already originally there. I mean, this could work for all aspects. I mean, I try to use metaphors or analogies in order to kind of help people see what I mean with the words that I say. I don't necessarily mean that's exactly what it is. I mean, this could be something to do with a relationship. This could be to do with family. This could be to do with something. But it's definitely something that you've now been put in a position where your perspective has changed on things. And now you're getting a little bit cocky with it without thinking about the consequences. You're thinking that you've won. It's almost like somebody's agreed to lend you their car or let you stay in their mansion while they're away, or their holiday home while they're not using it. So now you're acting all cocky with it, not thinking about all of the things that come with that. You may be borrowing this car, or you may be moving into this nice house, but think of everything that comes with it. It's not your car. It's not your house. It's not your position to make changes. Like, you're not going to go and get that car resprayed a different color. You're not going to put the house up for sale and cash in on it. So there's still elements of things to consider. So make sure that you are trying to think of things like that and be a bit more considerate if you can. I mean, that's on you. We'll find out how you get on with that next week when we come back and do another video for you guys born in the year of the rabbit. My next video will be for those born in the year of the dragon. So if you are interested in what they are up to, then I will see you in a video then. If not to worry, I will just see you in a video for the rabbits again next week. Of course, if you would like a more in-depth personal reading every month, just for you. You can find a link below for the Patreon, where there's different different packages where there are different readings available, and you can pick any of those if you want to. If not, don't worry. I'll just see you next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Love and peace.